Alright, I'm back after that last fall. I've done a few laps just to make sure that I wasn't going to fall again on camera. Because, I'm probably going to, but... it's better to try not to. And if I get one comment on this video that says, you should hit that big jump over there, the tabletop over there. I personally do not like falling and breaking my neck because I was on a mini bike trying to hit a 25-foot tabletop, which isn't that big of a tabletop, but it's built for 110. So on 110s, it's a pretty large tabletop. I think it's somewhere around, like from start to landing. I think it's like from the top of the thing's like. I think it's like 23 feet or something, and you land like about 25 feet away from the takeoff, which on a 110 is not that bad. It's pretty much just like jumping a driveway. Which I do on 110s a lot. I've jumped on every single 110 that I've had access to ride, which is like 3, but my 110, my friend's 110, and actually no, it wasn't another 110, it was a Yawsmo. My 110, my friend's 110, and some friend of friend's Yawsmo. Which is pretty much just an electric 110. It's slightly slower, and it's a budget e-bike, as the e-bike kids call them, like the Tuccio and whatever the other budget e-bikes are. Which is like $1,300 or something, which a lot of them are like $5,000, or like $3,500 to $5,000 for a nice one. So I guess they are budget, but I'm pretty sure the drivetrain are all made in the same factory. And if you look at Yawsmo, Strike Shadows, and some other like different bikes like that, they're all the exact same like base. It's just different power specs. Like the Strike Shadow, I think it has a higher RPM motor, and then there's the Yawsmo N10 Pro, which literally just has bigger tires and a 72 volt. I think it's a 60 volt, like a 60 volt battery and motor and stuff. And they have the 72 volt Strike Shadows, which are actually fun bikes. And they're not that bad, they're actually built, they're the same frame and stuff, but they're built better, like the suspension and brakes and everything. But if I was ever going to get like a budget e-bike, I'd probably get a Haybike, Villain, whatever they are. Because they're good at actual riding on dirt and stuff, which is mostly what I do. All the other ones are mainly like street bikes. If you try to hit jumps on them, the suspension just gets bottomed out immediately. Yeah, because this is my takeoff. That would not be fun on this thing. Because that takeoff is like a 45-degree angle. So it pretty much just sends you up. So you go up, like, I think about 3 feet from there, and then you just jump forwards. But I'm the only one that's ever did that jump on any bike. But sometimes I want to get my friend out here, because he's definitely going to crash, and I'm probably going to laugh. But because he either lets off the throttle completely, because he's not that great of a jumper. You know who you are, AJ? Either way, he either lets off the throttle completely in endos, or he doesn't let off the throttle at all and lands on his rear fender practically. He actually snapped his rear, he snapped his rear fender doing that. He landed on his back tire. I'll show you where he did it. It's on like a 75-degree angle, or some crazy, it's not 90, but it's like a, I'm guessing probably about 60, or, yeah, probably 45 degrees, who knows, either way, it was right there, which I only usually hit that jump on my 140 dirt bike, KLX 140, because, you know, it actually has enough suspension to where you land. You don't just fly off of it. But he decided he hit it at like, I think 30 miles an hour, which is not fun in general on any bike. And then he kept it pinned the entire time. He landed like on his rear fender practically, and he fell off, and his bike hit a tree. And I think he hit a tree across from him. Yeah, that was pretty funny. And then his bars got bent all the way sideways. It really wasn't a great event for him. But I think I might have a video of it. I don't know. I'll see if I can find it. I'm pretty sure I was recording when this happened. I'll see if I can find the video. It might already be in one of my videos. Who knows? Well, I know what happened. I was recording a video that day, and then I stopped recording, like, right before he did that. Which that kind of sucks, but... I'm really just putting around right now because I'm trying to not, you know, fly over something. That's about the fastest safe speed you can go on this thing, especially in the mud. Usually when I have this thing out, I'm just cruising around it. They're like in the neighborhood. Usually just back and forth to my grandparents' house. Oh yeah. I don't know if I want to try to go up this hill again. I think I've got it. Actually, I know where I'll go up. There you go. Can't see my bars very much right now, but I decided to angle my phone up so you can see more of where I'm going. I just realized that you guys are just looking at my bars mostly. To be fair, they're not exactly bars, they're more of just pillar type thingies. They're just connected to my forks. But you can just cut them off and put bar, whatever you call those. Now I need to figure out what they're called. Either way, they're just the things that hold on your handlebars. Right through those already holes, right through those crazy holes there. If you want to put on some different handlebars. But who knows? I might. Because me and my dad thought about like lowering this thing to where it's like kind of more of a street bike. Like just cutting out a piece of the frame right there, and then back here on the back of my frame. And then it's like, and then just lowering it and loading it back together. Which I think would be pretty cool. It wouldn't do great on dirt at all, but if we're just cruising around, I think that would be fun. And it probably wouldn't ride any different on asphalt. It's not like you're taking away any suspension. It already doesn't have any. Your suspension is your seat, and my seat on this thing is already completely blown out, which I got it like that. Like where you normally sit on this thing, where you're not all the way up here, like this, is completely blown out. Yeah, I think the fact that my wheels are like kind of getting stuck in the fenders is a sign to go put the bike in. Burning up this hill. I always do that on every bike if I have really muddy tires. I always do a burnout up that hill. I forget there's a hole there. You really can't drive through any holes on this thing. Something does not feel right now that I'm on asphalt. I think it's just the fact that I'm on a mini bike that doesn't feel right. Yeah, my torque converter is looking good. Alright, well that's probably going to be the end of today's video. Alright, we're cruising again. I burnt my leg when I fell off of it, but it wasn't that bad, so. I'm going to reroute I'm going to put a different exhaust on this thing, because every time you put your feet down or anything, this exhaust is in like the worst spot ever. It always burns your leg. I think I might have spoke too soon about it being too stable in the mud and stuff. Right after I did that, I fell down a hill. This thing doesn't exactly have tread on his tires either. It's better than my friend's, but it is not good at all. I did clean up my trails recently though. Every like spring I have to come out here and clean up these trails because they get so overgrown. Something just slipped under me. And it sounded like it was my chain. I know it wasn't my chain because my chain is entirely too tight. So it's definitely gonna break before it falls off. So I'm probably gonna loosen it whenever I'm done recording, but son of a, what the hell even happened? Well, my butt hurts. Hit on the carburetor or something. Well, I guess I'll be back in a second again. Alright. I'm impressed I got this thing started like second pull. And I totally didn't pull it like 8 times off the camera. Oh yeah. I kind of underestimated how muddy my track was. Either way, this is my first video on my free mini bike. I've had this thing for probably 2 months now, but I lost a piece that holds on my camera mount to my helmet. There's a little screw. Because whenever I'm not recording videos when I'm riding, I don't really like having my phone mount on there. But I have it, the thing that holds the phone mount on my helmet is always on my helmet. So when I took my phone mount off the last time I had it on here, I lost a little screw. But I found some random extra ones from an old, some sort of phone mount for recording that I had. So now I have 3 extra ones if I ever lose it again. Luckily 2 now because I already used one. So the story on this thing is, I got it for free from my cousin. It came with this 212 with a torque converter on it. It's a Coleman BT200UA, I think. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. It's one of the bigger mini bikes. And it was completely free when we got it, which is nice. So I swapped the 212 into it because it did have the original motor. I spray painted the fenders black and that little cover on the little cover down there that's red. I spray painted that red so it looks like a 224. I just think it looks better. And it had a Chinese carburetor and they never really run right. Like some Chinese aftermarket carburetor on the 212. So we had this we had this random TGV style 3-wheeler that my dad made that had a 212 Ghost motor in it. So I took the carburetor and thumb throttle off of that because that thing needs a lot of work before we actually get it running, and we don't really have shop space because we built a new shop, but it's just kind of been sitting there for a while and haven't really done much with it because my dad's busy with work and stuff. And the original torque converter front clutch on here was messed up. So So I took this juggernaut clutch off of my go-kart that was also broken because I could have possibly hit a tree with my front tire and broke the front wheel off of it. All it really needs is a steering pin thingy. I actually forgot what they're called. I might pop up a picture of what I'm talking about on the screen. But again, we don't really have space to work on that, so I just stole it. So I just stole parts off my other random small motor machines to get this thing running. This thing requires practically no tools to work on. I think I've used a 10mm and a 14mm socket, a socket and wrench to build this entire thing, and a Phillips head screwdriver. So, and it's practically just, it's also sketchy because it's a mini bike with too much power. I think it does like 55 or something, which is really sketchy on this little tiny steel and stuff. Oh, I actually turned my motor off. So, yeah. But it's literally just the frame, wheels, and a motor that's holding this thing together. Like any other mini bike, practically. So this one has absolutely zero suspension. I think this is the lowest model of Coleman mini bike for the bigger sizes. They have the little ones, and I'm pretty sure they have a model like this in the little one form also. One of my friends has a Sergetti Motorsports Badger. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go look it up. They're kind of cool. It has full suspension, like a swing arm, and front forks. He did land. I don't even know what he did. Somehow he broke off apparently he went over a bumper something, but his front fork snapped in half because they were seized shut because they didn't have any fluid within them. So we just got FRP mini bike forks and stuff and put it on there. I would be on my dirt bikes, but honestly this thing does way better in this has these giant wide tires. This thing does way better in mud and stuff. Kind of sideways if you try hard enough. Like, I don't know if it's really a good thing on this, but it's fun. So, yeah. I'm always going to ride around and talk about random stuff like I normally do in my videos. Because I've already told you about this thing. Oh yeah, I forgot. My friend's mini bike. It goes way too fast. I think his goes like 60 miles an hour, but it's one of the little bikes. It's sketchy fast, but it is actually really fun to ride. And in wet grass, he had tread on his tire, but they're like kind of cheap Amazon tires, and he mostly rides on the road. So now his rear tire is just a drag slip practically. So, in wet grass, you can just slide around in circles. This thing is way too stable. Like, I don't trust how stable it is on sand and stuff. I think I spoke... Son of a biscuit. I also successfully burnt my leg again, but that's not as bad as that one. I'll be back in 1 second.